Facebook stands apart from the crowd in many ways. Although some Fortune 500 companies are moving away from performance evaluations, Facebook is standing firm by conducting biannual 360-degree reviews. The company also facilitates a continuous stream of real-time feedback, allowing employees across the globe to give and receive feedback. According to an edition of the Harvard Business Review, Facebook promotes 3 core values in their performance management strategy. These are fairness, transparency, and while performance evaluations are not necessarily the perfect system and can have costly flaws, they are certainly better than no reviews at all. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Vijay. In this lecture, we'll discuss about performance management and appraisal. After taking this lecture, you should be able to understand and compare performance appraisal and performance management, describe the appraisal process. You'll be able to list the different methods of performance appraisal, and finally you'll have the understanding, or you'll understand the importance of feedback and performance appraisal. Let's move to our first objective, that is understanding and compare performance appraisal and performance management. According to Edward B. Filippo, performance management is a systematic, periodic, and so far as humanly possible an impartial rating of an employee's excellence in matters pertaining to his present job and to his better job. According to Slebert and Swinpaul, performance appraisal is a formal and systematic process by means of which the relevant strengths and weaknesses of the employees are identified, measured, recorded, and developed. From the two definitions, it is clear the performance appraisal is a systematic process to evaluate performance of employees in an organization. Please take a note that the employee is evaluated on past and present performance of work, and the future is also the future is only anticipated. All right, let's see what's there in performance management. According to Dessler, it is a process that consolidates goal setting, performance appraisal, and development into a single common system, the aim of which is to ensure that the employee's performance is supporting the company's strategic aims. Let's understand this in a simple way. When an employee joins an organization, he is given some goals. Goals may be in the form of yearly target. All right. Here, he is also being trained to achieve the targets or goals set for him. And during his work, he is being appraised for his performance in comparison to the goals he is supposed to achieve. Once the appraisal is done, on his side, he expects rewards if the performance is at par or above expectations. However, on other side, organization simultaneously expects that he may be punished if the performance is not at par or below average. Okay. Now this integrated process of setting goals, training employees, appraising them, and finally rewards or punishment is referred as performance management. Now from this example, you must be clear that the performance appraisal is a part of performance management. Let's see what are the other differences in performance appraisal and performance management. We have 3 columns in the table below. The first column is basis, which says what is the criteria adopted to differentiate between performance appraisal and performance management. On to the second column, we have performance appraisal, and in the third column, we have performance management. Till now, while discussing about the definition, we have identified some difference. Now our first comparison is who carries it. It needs to be noted that performance appraisal is carried by HR department and performance management is carried by managers and supervisors. Similarly, performance appraisal is conducted annually or biannually, while performance management is a continuous process, as we have understood in our definition that it is an integrated process of multiple activity that made it a continuous process. Okay, performance appraisal is individualistic in approach as compared as individual appraisals are done, while performance management is holistic in approach. Then we have corrections. Corrections are retrospective in nature. Retrospective means dealing with past situation and actions, while in performance management, corrections are prospective in nature or future oriented. To understand the term corrections here, let's take an example. Mr. Ram is an executive in sales department. Mr. Ram was appraised and it is found that on the basis of his past and present performance that Mr. Ram fails to make an effective follow-up with the clients and hence loses his clients to other teams. Alright. Now see, here we did the performance appraisal of Mr. Ram retrospectively. And on basis of this, he will be given further trainings and the existing system of training and the modules of training etc. will be modified accordingly for future employees. Okay. Now, when we started moving towards training and its module, we are basically entering into an integrated process of performance management, which is future oriented. That is, in future, the modified training will be provided to the employees so that they do not face the same problems as faced by Mr. Ram. Got it? Then we have focus, which is quantitative for appraisal and qualitative for management. By quantitative, we are saying that all the performances are in number. For example, Mr. Ram stands at 9 in presentation skills on the scale of 10. Here we have quantified the one particular skills of Mr. Ram and he is being rated at 9 on a scale of 10. And the last difference up here is that employees expects rewards in form of compensation during performance appraisal, while in performance management or the performance management is more or less focuses on the overall growth, or we can say they try to achieve or attain strategic aims by means of performance management. Hope you are clear till now. Then we have process of performance appraisal. It has 4 steps. The first one is define or establish standards. The second is design appraisal program. The third is appraise performance. And finally, we have feedback and corrective actions. Let's understand these steps in detail. Here in the first step, the employees and employer must have an agreement between each other as to what are the duties, responsibilities and accountabilities of an employee till he is employed. Once the duties, responsibilities and accountabilities are made clear, the minimum performance required at a particular job or a position shall also be made clear. The benchmark, if any, shall be clearly defined. Please note, while defining and establishing the standards of job, any kind of role ambiguity or role conflict etc. shall be avoided or be made clear. Alright. Then we have at this step, while designing the appraisal program, we have certain concerns like identifying the appraiser or who could be an appraiser or rater. Please understand that generally the appraiser is the immediate supervisor, as he is most familiar with the employee's work. But there are certain limitations of appraisal by a single person, and hence most of the company uses more than one appraiser. But again, the problem is that as the second or third rater may not have necessary contact with the employee who is to be rated. Further, it is assumed that the psychologists are more capable in giving unbiased judgments and hence are also made part of appraisal system by many organizations. Appraisals can be done by immediate supervisors, by peer group, by rating committee, or self-appraisals are also another option. That the appraisers shall have required skills, enough experience, a tendency to learn, must have gone through different trainings and other traits like abilities, competencies, knowledge, etc. Then we have what is to be measured. In this, we usually refer on certain parameters like quality of work, quantity, timeliness, etc. for appraising the individual. Let's say at Tata, Mr. Sham fixes 130 lights in a day of different cars. Here the quantity is 130 lights. That could be the parameter to appraise his performance. At the third level, we shall be careful about problems faced by appraiser or rater. It includes different problems that hinder the appraisal process. The problems could be of halo effect, unclear standards, spillover effect, etc. You can take detailed lecture on problems of appraiser and their solutions in a different video. Then we have our third step of performance appraisal, that is appraising performance. Now when we are aware who will do appraisal, what is to be rated, and the rater's problem and their solution, now the time has come to start with the appraisal of the individual. Numerous methods has been devised to measure the quantity and quality of employees' performance. Some of these are employee ranking, force distribution, graphic rating scales, checklists, critical incidents, management by objective, and behavioral anchored rating scales, also abbreviated as BAS, etc. We'll discuss about these methods in detail in our lecture titled Performance Appraisal Method. Let's move to our last step of progress of the process. The last step is feedback and corrective actions. Here we have collected certain facts to understand the importance and how the feedback contributes or takes the individual or manager to the automated correction system. Some of the facts regarding performance appraisal are: in a study of 469 business units ranging from retail stores to large manufacturing facilities, Gallup found that units with managers who received strengths feedback showed 8.9% greater profitability compared to the units in which managers received no feedback. Okay. Similarly, Gallup found that by simply giving more continuous strength-based feedback, companies can reduce turnover by 14.9%. This is a very important study that's being carried. The company who are facing turnover rate can try to implement the continuous strength-based feedback system. There is a high possibility that their turnover rate will reduce considerably. In an article by Lindsay, we come across that 69% of employees say they would work harder if they felt their efforts are being recognized. Another study of 1,500 employees by Adobe concluded that annual performance reviews are outdated and too time consuming. 80% of the employees prefer immediate feedback over annual reviews. From these data, we can easily make out that a continuous feedback system put the people or put the employees onto the corrective actions themselves, or the self-corrective mode has been started when a continuous feedback has been provided to an individual. Okay, from the facts we can easily conclude that feedback is a very important process which is often ignored and is not taken seriously by most of the company, that usually put them in disastrous state. Okay, hope you enjoyed the lecture. Feel free to write a feedback to us. Thanks for patience learning. Thank you very much.